Okay. Before I leave too. Hi, Kelly. All right, so let me leave myself a note. Don't walk off without that. How we doing? Man.
That's just me waking up.
Man. All right. So today, let's see. Let's talk about the week first. Get this on like this. Journal number 3, Friday, 10 a.m. Same as always. It's more of a reflective one this week. It's more of a, you know, what's changed, if anything.
No math at all.
No math at all. No math, exactly. I thought what's changed? No math at all.
Wait, what?
I got it. There's no math in the journal this week. It's more reflective. Yeah, I'll probably bring the math back into next journal just to kind of keep it rolling. We'll start our first lab today. I think we'll start / finish it. But then the lab will actually continue into the homework that I gave you. Did I give you the homework? Yes, I did. Okay, so let's do the warm-up first. The warm-up actually is directed at the lab, which is then directed at your homework. So it's like this big, long thing that kind of ties together. So let's start with, actually, no, back up. How was the homework from, yes, the homework from yesterday. How was that? Is that decent?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm all scatterbrained. I wasn't planning on doing that.
That's my life.
Homework's okay? Let's hand it up. Let's hand it up, yeah. We're happy with it, that's good. Good. Black box questions, those are fun. Those are fun. They help us. What was that? Well, me too. And remember too, I've been putting solutions to all your homeworks on the schedule page, which I'm not sure if anybody knows. Maybe you don't. I've mentioned it a couple times, but maybe I'd mention it again. Real quick, if you go, and this is the website that's on your syllabus. If you go to here, which you probably don't go to very much because I give you most of what you need in class, but if you go down to Math 98 schedule page calendar and click on that, it's literally just this obnoxious looking calendar. It's mostly for my Math 105 classes. That's where all their stuff lives. But for y'all, what I do each day that we do something is I put what we did that day and then I put little solution videos to the homework. So just so you know, these are here. Like last class was down here. So if you click on that, it takes you out to a video and it's me working the problems. So just so you know, they're there. And yeah, that's terrible.
That was
Sorry.
totally the first thing.
Sorry, you didn't need to hear that or see that. But just so you know, when I hand stuff back to you and you're like, I don't understand why I got an 8 out of 10 on this, you can ask me, of course. But if you don't look at it till you get home, you can always watch that and I work it out for you. So those are there for you. I don't put them in Blackboard just because I can't stand Blackboard, honestly. I'd rather keep it here. So just the way you get to it is just this main page, and this main page is on your syllabus. Or you can just go to the directory page at COCC and find me there, same page. So pretty easy. I bet you that's how most of you find me online if you need. You probably just go up here to the directory and then go by last name, I bet. I'm not sure I like this yet, but it's okay, it's here to stay. So, and there I am, and then website, boop, and then you're there. So, but that's, just so you know, that's there for you. Okay, thank I work right here, right here. Good, good. Hi.
I just had a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, ask.
Okay, I did it like for number 2 for 25 plus 2 equals 27 times 5, I got 135. Was I supposed to do the multiplication first?
You're supposed to do the order that's indicated here in the one, in steps 1, 2, and 3.
Oh,
Remember how it was a little confusing, so we rewrote it?
Okay, that's what I did.
Right, so you did steps 1, 2, and no, that we had to reach, because I realized it was a little unclear, so we touched up the answer. We touched up how is it? So square the first number, add 2 to the result of that, and then multiply that result by, yeah, gotcha. Yep, all right. Excellent. I'll get these back to you on Monday. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, but that was Kelly's. All right. So now, let's get warmed up. What did you hand me before? You handed me a bunch of papers before. What was that?
Theirs. Those are my homework.
I'm so confused right now. That's okay.
It's okay.
That's your lab. Your warm was over here. So the lab today and the homework for today, which is a continuation of the lab, is all based on using order of operations, practice using order of operations before we launch in next week the negative numbers and more formulas and stuff like that. So all this is, I call this the 4 fours lab. You take 4 number 4s and do whatever mathematical operations you can to them to get a certain value out. So like, for example, 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 get you 16. That makes sense, I hope. 4 plus 4 plus 4 times 4 would get you 24. Because you do the 4 times 4 first, you get 16, and then add 4 and 4 to it. So you'd add 8 to 16, you get 24. So depending on what operations you do, you can get different numbers out on those 4 fours. What this warm-up does, for starters, is it has you do 5, and maybe a 4th one, I got a 6th one, I gave you an extra credit one if you want it. But I gave you 4 that I already made up for you, and I want you to tell me what those 5 equal. I keep saying 4 because it's about 4s. I gave you 5 examples using 4s. Should use 5. Yeah. And then an extra credit one if you want it. So I'll give that to you now. Let you schlep away at it. Then we'll regroup, make sure we're all happy with our answers. And then the lab really is a big, long practice with making as many different numbers as we can with the 4s. That might take us a while, which is okay. I don't mind that one bit. So you do that. I'll return some stuff. And then we'll regroup. I'm just saying that now to see. What's up?
Partially.
Yep.
Had to park all the way at the bottom level.
I'm just sarcastic and rambunctious. I feel No, we don't want.
Times 8 is 64, right? And then that times 8 would be over.
So you're 64
About
plus
500.
60.
And
Wait.
then 500 times 8, so it's about 4,000. Yeah. Now, hang on, slow down, slow down. Let's talk about this. So, which one are you doing right now? You're doing this one. So, what would happen first here? Oh, I'm sorry. It's 8 to the 4th power. Sorry. Yes, I got what you're saying. Right. So you get 8 to the 4th power, right? And multiply that times 20. Look at that. Isn't that ludicrous? Isn't that ludicrous? What the magical number? That's what you do.
I think she was.
That is a big old
I think she
number.
was talking outside of her mind.
No, it's okay. It is a big old number, but you got to realize and we'll study this more in Math 105. Exponential growth is ludicrous.
So it's 4,000. 8 to the.
Yeah, 8 to the 4th.
Oh, 8 to the 4th.
What's up, Lisa?
No, I could have done that online, but
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that it's 4 times 4 is 16.
Uh-huh.
4 times 4 is 16, so 16
Uh-huh.
16 is 30.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So that would be worth is 4,000.
What's up, Anjali? Yes.
Okay.
So wait,
Is 4 in here?
I'm gonna take.
Is that what's staying here?
Well, it's an exponent. What does that mean?
4
Right.
Where,
So, what does an exponent mean? Right, so what does that mean?
yeah.
8 times 8 times.
Exactly, 8 times 8 times 8 times 8, there you go.
Okay.
When you said put it in, I didn't know what you meant by that.
Oh, I thought you did. I
Right,
thought you were supposed to.
I was just explaining what the, make sure you know what the 4 was. The 4 is an exponent.
I thought you meant like.
No, the 4 is an exponent.
Every time I hear.
Like, that, I should have put the exponent of 4 in quotes. Like 4 means an exponent of 4, so that means, what you just said, it means 8 times 8 times 8 times 8.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I like that you said that, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put exponent of 4 in quotes, I think. Make it hopefully clearer. Even if you even need that, I don't even need that was me being a worrier, putting that sentence on there. I'm not even sure you need to have that sentence there.
I think that's what confused me.
Maybe the sentence confused you, maybe I should take the sentence away. And number 4, if you've got a number 4, is it worse, 5, I mean, is 5 worse or better because of the sentence I wrote after it?
I just ignored it.
You just ignored it and you were okay with it?
I looked at
Okay,
it and I was
okay.
like,
Let me take it out then. Okay, that's good. Sometimes I try to overhelp, so. Sorry, Kelly.
Wait, so 4 divided by 4.
Let me just take that away then.
4 divided by 4, 1, 4 divided by 4.
4, here we go.
Just be 1.
Thank you, Anjali, and thank you, Dominique, for telling me that. That's good to know. Good information. Yeah. How about this one down here?
Oh, yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Oh, that's the one you're talking about, not the one above it. Well, how about the one above it?
I don't know, I didn't see. Oh.
This one here?
No, that's how I think that's.
That was helpful?
I mean,
Okay.
I knew that it was the 4th power, but
Okay, but maybe it didn't bother you to see it written there?
no.
Okay, but the one on the bottom.
Yeah, that's.
See, you know, I'm gonna leave it there for now, and I'm gonna explain to you why later. Because as I was typing it, I didn't like the way it looked. Do you see how the top 4 is bigger than 400? And then these 4s aren't really smaller than that one. I couldn't make them smaller than that one, and that bugged me. So I'm like, because I wanted you to know.
It does look weird.
It looks very weird. But the thing about it is we just use an expression like this in 105 today. And I'm like, oh, this is actually fun. We can have them do this. And this one comes out to be extraordinarily a nice number. But you have to know what to do first, and that's why I wrote it like this. Now, it looks terrible, this. But if you actually look at this, it's easier.
Is that right?
Didn't want to put in, but it's like,
Because you probably followed this, didn't you? Yeah, you went, no, you didn't. You did. You went over here. You did.
I would put it as 414 times 414.
Oh, tell me that
Right,
again.
when you're dividing.
So okay,
Flip
that's,
it, so really.
how'd you do this right here? So we do 4 plus.
And that's exactly what I,
Which is 8, and then
what I didn't
8
want to
times 8
do.
times 8.
Because what should happen first is, this isn't 4 over 4 divided by 4 over 4. It's this divided into that, and then that divided into this. But it just so happens that you get the same answer both ways because all the 4s are the same number. If you mix those numbers up with different numbers, you get different values. But because they're all 4s, it works. So, beautiful. And that's exactly why I put this. Watch this. To do it this way, you do 4 over 4 first, because it's in the innermost parentheses. So that becomes a 1.
Oh, okay.
Then you've got 4 divided by 4 divided by 1. 4 divided by 1 is 4. And you have 4 over 4, so it's a 1. But that's, so the idea is, that's funny though, you saw it. And that would have been fixed probably if I could have made the fonts agree, but I couldn't make it work, so that's why I put it up there. We'll talk about that one, that's a fun one. That's a fun one. What's up, Tracy?
Is 0.25, 1 divided by 4.
Yeah,
And it's
So it'd be
this
4 divided by
way.
4.
that means the same thing as that. It's just written a different way.
That's
That's what all divisions. Those are fractions. Fraction in a fraction in a fraction. I'm gonna do, hang on a second. You know what I'm gonna do, friends? This extra credit, last one, this number 6, I hate the way it looks, but I couldn't make it look any better. I'm gonna write it on the board to make it look better. I couldn't make the word processor fix the sizes of the 4s, so what it should look like, Tracy, is this.
I had 2 on the 40 just a moment.
Are you sure?
That's what it should look like. This is why it's extra credit. It's a pain in the ass to look at. I'm not saying it's not.
Was it 4?
I'm just saying.
Or was it 4?
So that's what it, and what I really wanted it to have is I wanted all the 4s to keep getting smaller. And it didn't work down here. These, I could never get these two small enough. Because if you think about it, this whole thing is a big fraction. This is the numerator of that fraction. And this is the denominator of that fraction. But then the denominator is itself a fraction. It's got that numerator and that denominator. And then that denominator is a fraction. numerator, denominator. So I wanted you to kind of think about that and do it backwards in that order. But Dominique found a wonderful life hack to get around it, which is wonderful. It's very, very nice. Very, very nice.
I have to over because I such bad anxiety for it.
That's right?
It is. But I think a lot of you found really, really slick ways of doing it, which makes me very, very happy. All right, we're almost done handing stuff back. We can go over this warm up.
Jeez, Sean.
Get started into our lab.
Oh, I'm kidding. What would I do?
Okay, everybody else.
Is that glitter pen?
It is. My green pen died. I got to use a fun gold Sharpie, which I will tell you a few things about gold Sharpies. Kelly, you too. They last about a tenth as long as the little ones. As I was grading papers, it died. The fumes it releases, I'm fairly certain I'm dumber now than I was yesterday. What do I mean by the fumes? I mean, don't ever use one if you don't want to kill your brain cells. They're toxic. I don't know what the hell's going on. Very pretty though. I think it's totally worth it. Totally worth it. All right, let me make sure that she can see this okay. I think she can. Kind of. It's kind of dark. I hope this works, Kel. All right, let's do this. Let's walk through each one, because this is going to help us on this lab. The lab is all about order of operations. But the thing about it is, this is a little different than the lab. In this one, I'm giving you expressions to get to equal something. On the lab, I'm going to give you what it's equal, and I want you to give me the expression. Does that make sense? So it's an inverse. Hopefully it'll be fun. Ma, you asked me that question.
No.
Oh, it's a thumbs up. Sorry, I thought it was thumbs up. Yes, okay, good. So this first one, 4 times 4 plus 4 times 4. Okay. So we have a book for 32. We've got some nods for 32. Okay, Teresa, walk me through this one. How did you proceed? Let me make this bigger too, so it's easier to see. Go ahead, Teresa. Go ahead. How did you attack this one?
4 times 4 is 16.
So you went for the 4 times 4 first. Okay.
So 16.
Made this 16. Okay, good. Keep going.
Plus 16.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Why didn't you? Okay, I'm going to write this in steps. So that's what the first thing you did was, right? The first 4 times 4.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you do 16 plus 4 right now? And make 20. I'm telling you to do the wrong thing. I'm asking you why you didn't do the wrong thing.
Supposed to times
Because, yeah, I just times 4 times 4.
Because in order of operations,
times before adding.
multiplications happen before addition. So you don't do that next. You would do it next if there are parentheses here, but there aren't. But there aren't. So you do the 4 times 4 next to get 16 plus 16, which gives you 32. Thank you, my friend. Beautiful, beautiful. 32 for our first one. So if on the lab I asked you to make 32, you would have a solution. It's right there. It's right there. But I didn't ask you to make 32 on the lab. That's okay. I tried to pick ones I didn't actually have you do or explained already, because the lab explains some other ones too. Okay, how about this puppy dog down here? What's this guy? Bring him up to the top here. Oh, a little bit too far. 4 times 4 plus 4 over 4. Lindsay, what are you thinking?
I just went 4 times 4, which is 16.
Okay.
I went 4 divided by 4, which is 1, so
Okay.
16 plus 1 is 17.
So it's 17?
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like the math in number 1 and number 2 is extraordinarily similar. I shouldn't say that, the math is different. The order of operations, though, is similar. Because both of them have a multiplication or division connected by an addition or subtraction. Make sense? I mean, they're both, if you think about it, order of operations-wise, they're identical. Because you have these two things that are kind of floating out on the sides, connected by an addition or subtraction sign. I kept that theme going with number 3, didn't I? I kept that theme going with number 3, which equals? 0. Same exact thing. 4 over 4. 4 over 4 and 4 times 4, those all occupy the same level, order of operations. They're that second to last step. So then you have 1 minus 1, and then you're done. And you have 0 and 0. Very, very good. Very, very good. Then I started mixing it up a little bit, just to mix things together. Get some parentheses in there. Get some parentheses in there. Okay, how about this one? I got some parentheses, I got some multiplication, I got some addition, I got some division, all kinds of ridiculous stuff. This, FYI, this is one of the ones you'll see in Math 105 when we talk about interest rates on savings accounts. Works pretty well. Talk me through this one. Who wants to? Talk to me, Claire. That is a 4. These are all, every one of these has 4 4s.
I know, I say are we on number 4?
We are, sorry. We are on.
Okay, now we first do I did 4 divided by 4, which is 1.
I love that idea. Now, I'm gonna ask Claire a question. I'm gonna ask everybody a question. Quick one, Claire, because you're in front.
I've taken care of
Ladies.
these.
Why not do that multiplication first? I thought multiplication and division went left to right first. What's there that makes me do yours first? Boom! We got it knocked down, was in the parentheses first, before we deal with what's outside the parentheses. Thank you for that. So I'm gonna bring this down. 4 times 4 plus, you call that 1?
Yes.
Love it. Keep going.
So that's 5.
And then you're still in the parentheses. You gotta put, even though it's addition, it's in parentheses, so it has to happen first. Love it. 4 times 5. 20. Very good. So now we made it number 20. We made it number 20. All right. We buying this? Buying this so far? Okay, good. Now the last one for points, not extra credit points, but for points. I thought I'd throw an exponent and some parentheses on there, because I'm a total bastard. Who wants to give this one a shot?
I have one question.
Oh, yes, go.
So, on number 4.
Yes.
Can I just put the 4 and then parentheses 4 plus 1, and then 4 times 5 equals 20? Do I have to put the multiplication sign there too, or can the parentheses?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So can you write it like this?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we talked about that last time too. I've been putting it in there to make it. Multiplication's the only one that has that implied. If you don't see if two numbers are sitting like that. Yeah, see, that's wrong though, because this doesn't mean 4 times 4. That means 44.
But with the
But with the parentheses, yeah, that's the thing. But multiplication is the only operation that has that. So I've been kind of overcorrecting by always putting the asterisk there. But yes, Elisa, the answer to your question is yes, you can write it that way. It's totally
It's
fine.
hard for me to keep track of how many signs.
Totally fine. If you want to drop it off there, it's totally fine.
All right, thanks.
Cool? All right, good question. Very good question. All right. Last but not least, it's auto-correcting me for some reason. I wonder why that is. Yeah, sure, do that. No, that's terrible. Stupid word. Okay, there we go. There she is. A little bigger too. Okay, so real quick, just because I made this yesterday, was this helpful or not helpful? Writing this over here, the sentence that I just highlighted. I wanted to. Didn't even read it? Who didn't even read it? That sentence that's over there on the right-hand side. Okay, who read it and was upset by it? Okay, upset by it. Lily, thank you for that. Who read it and was like, oh, thank God that was there because I wouldn't have known how to do it otherwise. You know what that tells me? It tells me to get rid of it. Because it upset one person and a bunch of you didn't even read it. So there's really no reason to have it there. Excellent. Thank you, Lil. Say that again, Aubrey? You didn't mind it. Well, you know what though? But I would call that a 0 as far as votes. I had 1 negative vote. A bunch of did not play votes because you didn't read it. Yours I would call a 0 vote because you're okay with it there or not with not there. So I'm gonna try to knock out the negative votes and just have it be. So it's obvious it's an exponent. I guess is what I'm getting at. Okay, good. Walk me through it. And Elisa, you can write it a different way if you want to. You can write it like this.
Okay.
Without the multiplication. Aubrey, please.
4 plus 4 is 8.
Thank you. Why'd you do it first?
Because it's number 96.
Thank you.
And then next you do 2 to the 4th power, so it would be 8 times 8 times 8 times 8.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 4,000.
That big ass number.
96.
Yeah, 4,096. Very good.
And then 4,096 times 4.
Which equals?
16,384.
Thank you. Massive number. Massive number. You can get some really ridiculous numbers using just scores. I mean, that's a pretty damn big one. We can beat it by a long shot by using just exponents. But we'll get to that. That's part of what the lab's all about. And then last but not least, give this one a shot if you want to. I think we talked through it out loud quite a bit, so you might actually have an answer. That's fine. If you have an answer, it's okay. Leave it written
Is
down.
that a 4 up there?
There's lots of 4s up there.
Is that the after the
Tons of-
6,300?
Yes, 16,384.
Okay, that's
Exactly. Aubrey, ask me that question.
I did 4 divided by 4 is 1, and that divided
So,
by 4
before you go any further,
is that
what this was supposed to be, and this is where the sentence to the right actually is helpful. If you look at what I wrote over here, let me slide over so you can see it. This is what it actually is supposed to happen. Now that some of you looked at that and were like, nah, but that's okay. You see the parentheses in this? That guides you as to what to do first.
So 1 would be in the first little.
This first little, you see how there's 2 sets of parentheses? I get extra credit, this is why this is, you've got a set of parentheses here and then one encompassing that one. when you have multiple parentheses, you do the inside ones first and work out. So the first thing you would actually do for this one, should you choose to do it, is the first 4 divided by 4. That isn't divided by 7, okay? 4 divided by 4, right, okay, good. Where 4 is 1, exactly. So if you want to give this one a shot, give it a couple more minutes, and then you know what you should do? I mean, you could totally put the entire thing in your calculator too, but if you're trying to kind of work it step by step, what I would do is, let me scroll it up a second, is just start adding steps under it. So you know this is equal to 1. So you got 4 divided by 1. Because now you're there. Now you're at that step. So if you want to give it a shot, and then turn it in. Like I said, it's extra credit. It's kind of a pain in the butt. But it didn't look right. That's why I wrote this one on the board. But looking around the room, I think that upset you more than just leaving it the way it was. So, sorry. I was just trying to make up some ridiculous one to kind of push you into that order of operations, like next level stuff. Cool? Aubrey, go ahead.
Is it equal 1?
I'm not going to tell you. Sure it is. It's equal to 1. I just told you.
It equals taco squared.
Cool? Let's turn those in. Let's turn those in. And let's get you your labs, which is the backwards version of this warm-up, which I think will be more fun. Maybe. It might suck. I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Thank you.
There was an extra one.
We got extra ones. I'll throw those in here. Thank you. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ed. I got them all. Yeah. Now what we're gonna do, real quick, we got some. It's all good. I'm not going too far. All right. So let's put this with your homeworks. Beautiful. I'm gonna give you your lab, and we're gonna talk through part of it together before I set you loose. Here we go. No, this is wrong. That's the homework, not the lab. I guess that's what that damn box was up there.
It's that felt pen.
Say that again.
It's that felt pen.
I swear to God, I feel better today. It was worth it. Not gonna lie. Jenny Crookshank also made me do a burpee workout yesterday, so I'm also feeling
Oh
better
yeah,
today.
I saw you work out yesterday.
You heard me swearing the entire time? We're gonna do 100 burpees. I'm like, Jenny.
Those suck.
Does she still bring her dog around?
She brought her dog. Carolyn brings her dog.
I love her dog. I heard the
Carolyn?
I heard the lace last. Wait, where's the dog?
Big, massive oaf of an animal. Yeah, I love that
Yeah,
dog. I know. It's like
I checked.
Clyde.
I can't remember.
All right, don't save that. All right. Do we have enough, yeah? I think. Do we have enough? We got extras. Thank you, Alyssa. Hold on. I'll be right down there in a second, my friend. Okay, now this might confuse you a little bit because it says order of operations lab 7. I'm making the assumption, and this is only housekeeping for me, that you took 58 as well, and that went labs 1 through 6. So this picks up with that with lab 7. It's completely and totally irrelevant. It doesn't matter to you at all. The first lab you're doing at 98. And they may have been numbered differently when I had you at 58 last year. I'm not sure, Brittany. They're probably pretty close to the same. It doesn't matter. It's our first lab.
I had 58 a year ago.
Guaranteed it was different then, because that was before I was even involved with it.
Yeah.
So don't you worry about it, Kellie. Don't you even worry about it. Not even worry. Lab 7 means nothing. It's our first lab we're doing today. So I want to get down to it here so we can look at it. Boop, boop, boop. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. So it's still the 4-4s problem. It's still the 4-4s exercise. So what I've done is I've put a number of examples of them on the board, and including some stuff that we didn't talk about in the warm-up. So let's just go through them example by example before I set you loose. Okay, example number 1. One thing you can do is just put the 4s next to each other. 4, 4, 4, 4, which would be 4,444. That's one thing you could do. Totally fine. Examples 2 and 3, I put 3 of the 4s together, and then either add or subtract the 4th one. So example 2 is 444 plus 4, which is 448. Hopefully that makes sense. And the other one is 444 minus 4, which is 440. Just some more examples. Just making up, kind of letting your mind wander with this one and doing as many different things as you can. Teresa!
It wouldn't be a wrong answer, which way you do it.
No, I'm just giving you examples. I'm trying to combine these fours in as many ways as I can to illustrate what we're talking about today. How about if I multiply them all together? 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Yeah, that's a big number, 256. Not as big as these guys up here, but it's still. But if you add them, 16, 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. This one looks kind of familiar, maybe what we did in the warm-up. Now look at this one, a little goofy. I got 1. Now we got 1 in the warm-up, didn't we? No, we didn't. We got 0. We didn't get 1, we got 0. Here's a way to get 1. You could put 4 plus 4 over 4 plus 4. Brittany, answer that question. Look at this one right here.
No.
No,
I
it's
was
no.
down here.
Oh, you're already past me. That's totally fine. Aubrey, you're going to say something?
I'm past, never mind.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I was just.
Okay. But Dominique gave me another way of making 4. When she was doing my extra credit problem on the quiz, she said, well, Sean, if I just do 4 divided by 4, and then divide that by 4 divided by 4, you get 1. And that's correct. You do. That's another way you could make 1.
But it only worked with that problem?
Yes. Well, it worked in that problem because all the numbers were the same. Now, this is different math than my problem had in it. This fraction bar happens first in this problem, where in my problem that I made, it was the bottom fraction bar that happened first. But because the numbers were the same, it didn't matter. That's all I'm saying. I made 0 a different way here. I went 4 plus 4 minus 4 plus 4. I can make 0. Okay? Now, I want you to start with number 1. If I took the parentheses away from the problem in example 6, what number? Oh! Shoot, that should say example 7. Did you ever see my typo? I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's fix that typo right now. I apologize. 7. 7. 7. Technically speaking, there are parentheses in 6 too, but that's not what I meant to ask. I meant to ask if I took the parentheses away. So what I want you to do right now is just start working through the lab. I'm going to be wandering around, helping if you get stuck, and then we'll take your 5 as you need it. I mean, we're not anywhere near the break time yet, but as you need it, just kind of wander out, get some air, get some water, come back in. I'll check for more typos. I can't believe that one got through. Who's up? What does what one ask? What if we did both additional lists? How would this one turn out? I want you to evaluate that. What would that be equal to?
Not doing it the right way.
Say that again.
I don't just put parentheses on my.
No, you don't put in. Not yet. On the back of this one, you're gonna use parentheses if you want to. I'm giving you some more examples for now.
Am I taking pretty wrong right now?
Did you do like?
You haven't done anything yet, so I'm not
left
sure.
or right?
Well, I mean, like without the parentheses,
Oh.
it may not be not right.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Or am I not doing like that?
Well, that's a different expression. You've made a new expression by doing that. If you just see the expression sitting there without the parentheses,
Yeah.
what has to happen first?
Oh.
You see what I'm asking?
Okay.
That's the whole point of this, is to test those orders that things happen in. Okay, I want to keep reading. Go to example 2 and 3. Okay, good. That one works well.
So you just did 4?
Because we're still doing
Oh, that's a good one.
operations, we just took one of that.
Who's that? Oh, got you. So do you see examples 2 and 3?
I do.
These guys up here. All right, so 4, 4, 4 plus 4, 4, 4, 4 minus 4.
I got 20.
How did I get 111 out of this?
So for 6 here,
Wait,
What do you think? What do you think right now?
I got it.
You got it.
I just want to make sure I'm right.
Oh, that's.
So for number 2, so if I took the parentheses away, I would still be 0.
Why do you feel dumb? Why do you feel dumb?
I was looking at it, like thinking about it, what you.
Why do you feel dumb? Oh my god! Oh my god! You gotta think about things sometimes longer than a couple seconds.
Using 8.
It's really funny.
Yes! You got this, Big thing.
Yeah, okay, so
What's up,
it's
babe?
4 plus 4.
Okay, so I want you, on the first part of this lab, is just like,
4 is 4, and then
the warm-up was, where I give you things for the most part. But down here, if you think about down here, you actually, in number 5, that's the year that we became the United States. I want you to make up a multiplication or addition that makes 1776. Work on that one first. Then we'll go to the back page, okay?
This one?
Yes. Why'd you put parentheses in?
Um,
Oh, you didn't. You rewrote it, didn't you?
yeah.
You did. You put the 4. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
You put the 4 times 4 out here. That's totally fine to do. That's legit. Yeah, that's totally fine. Okay. See if that doesn't okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, oh, wait a minute. Look at 3 again. 3's not 64. You made an assumption about something that's not there, Aubrey.
Okay.
You see that second 8 you wrote? See this 8 that you wrote right here?
Okay.
Why is that not 8?
Because I need to charge it by 4.
You got it. Work on that. Yes, ma'am.
So, on the back one?
So on the back one, you see what you just did for numbers 4 and 5? You had to make up operations that equal 111 and 1776.
Yeah.
Make up operations that equal 1, that equal 2, that equal 3. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So as many as you can. And I'm going to tell you this right now, as you start working, some of you are moving on to the back page. Bless you, that's wonderful. You're probably not going to get all 20 of them in this room today. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We're going to put our brains together towards the end and see how many we can get. And the ones you can't, you're going to go home with and finish them for next Monday. Does that make sense? So the object is not to get everything done today in the lab. Chances are we're not going to, and that's okay. We're going to take that, whatever we can't do, and that'll become homework for later. Fair? And we're going to regroup, not to worry. Jake, ask me that question.
So if we did multiplication here, so how I see this would be 4 plus 4, which is 8. So it'd just be 8 times 8 is 64.
But you're assuming something if you do that. Let's talk about that. I'm going to put it on the board real quick, okay?
Does that help? They don't all have to. I know, no.
Okay. So, what happens first, multiplication or addition?
Oh, multiplication.
Right. So what has to happen first here?
4 times 4.
Boom.
16.
Make sense?
Oh, okay.
That's what has it. Now, what you were doing, which is an easy thing to do with all the work you've been doing, you were putting your own parentheses around it. You were putting parentheses here and parentheses here, and then adding the 4 and the 4 to get 8, and the 4 and the 4 to get 8. But if they're not there, adding them actually makes it a different expression.
Remember order of operations.
Yeah, that's yes.
1776.
It is. It is indeed. So okay, so look at examples 2 and 3, and make sure you see what I did there.
I got that one.
Okay, so you see how I did 444 minus 4 and 444 plus 4 to get 440 and 448. Now, use a similar approach to get 111. And I will give you a hint. Start with the same 444. I'll give you that hint. There's not much you can do if you already have the 444 as one number. There's not a whole lot you can do with it besides just leave it as 444. So mess around with that. Okay, Claire? Talk to me, Lisa.
There you go. Boom.
So tell me in number 2 why you added the 4s plus the 4s to get 8s. I get that, but why did you do that first? Isn't something else supposed to happen first in that expression? Right, so what has to happen first? 4 times 4. So that has to become 16 before anything else happens. Yes, there you go. You two work together, this is perfect. Wow. Trade number 1. You used 12 4s, didn't you? Because you used 4 4s here, 4 4s here, 4 4s here. 4 4s home. You cheated. Cheated on my lab.
Yeah, that one's hard.
They came out right though.
Get out of here. But you cheated!
1776.
That's like saying I won the Boston Marathon because I took my motorcycle along 26.2 miles. I finished first.
It's all your fault.
Yes.
All right.
Of course. Because I'm at homework. I will start being loud.
Well, it was square roots.
Use whatever you want.
No, I checked when you said
Totally
it.
fine. But I do want to talk to you about this one.
Saying it, my
Oh,
mom
yeah.
said it, so.
But it's not
You ready
written
for it?
100% correctly. Correct, so just add something. No, it's beautiful. Add something. There you go. I'm done. Boom. Yes, well, by all means, you lose.
I want to go back and watch it and see.
4 times 4 is 16 over.
So cool.
Now, I am gonna ask you to also add something to this one to make sure that people do the math right, because here's the deal. If you put this into a calculator, you wouldn't get 2. Here's why. You would do 4 times 4 is 16.
Use all the fours?
You would divide that by 4 to get 4, and then it would multiply by the square root of 4 to get you back to 16.
Okay.
So would you, tell me what you would, how would you want this to be done to get 2? Walk me through it. A 4, which is 2. Keep talking. Well, how do you know this whole thing is equal to 2?
Well, we can't get 16.
It's 4.
Yeah.
Right.
I say
No, you got 4 fours, that's good. But how do you get from this 16 divided by 4 to 4? How are you going to get that down to 2?
Michelle says.
Walk me through it. Like if you were entering this on your calculator, tell me how you do it.
Let's look all the way that way.
Let me watch you do it. That might help us. Okay, it's 16. So you're telling that first. That's why I said parentheses. I love that. Divided by 4 is 4. Now, how do you get it down to 2? How does the square root of 4 come in? Oh, I see what you're saying. Take the square root of the whole thing. Oh shit, no, you can't do that because that takes a 4 out. Because watch. Yes, put it on the, it will look like this, just so you, I love this idea, but it breaks the rule because you've taken one of your 4s away then.
Yeah,
Because
because there's
what-
an extra.
You'd have that. So you need one more 4. So let's go through again. You said 4 times 4 versus 60. Divided by 4 is 4. Now let's just, we know it's 4 down to here. What's that equal to? This is 4. This is 2. What can we do with that to make it equal to that? I was thinking subtract, but divide works too. Subtract might be easier for you to see. You see that? You see that?
Nice.
So, ladies, thank you for this. I want to throw something out here for y'all to play with if you want. On your homework, I'm going to allow you to use other symbols like square roots and cube roots and things like that. If anybody feels the need, they want to use like a square root in these, you totally can. The reason why they're nice is because the square root of 4 makes a 2. Does that make sense? So if you need a 2, if you're down to the end of a calculation, you need a 2, and you just can't figure out how to do it, we're gonna add this to the list of things you can do. You can take the square root of a 4. Why is the square root of 4 2? I heard a voice, I'm sorry. Well, Aubrey, you go.
How many times does a number go into 4? Right?
Sorta. I kind of like that. I do. Hang on, hold that thought. I'm gonna turn the screen off. Why is the square root of 4 2?
It's like a backwards exponent.
I like that answer. But the exponent is 2.
Yeah, but like 64, the square root of 64 would be 8.
Because
Because 8 times 8 is 64.
that's what I wanted to hear right there. You said it. That was perfect.
Okay.
So the square root of 4 is 2 because 2 times 2 is 4. Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear.
But then technically I'm not working with a 4.
You are. You're taking the square. Well, technically, anytime you put 4s together, you're not working with a 4 anymore, right? 4 times 4 is 16. That's not a 4 anymore. But you've got 4 from it somehow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so if you use an exponent with that, so like 4 cubed.
4, well, cube. You can't do cubed. Oh, Aubrey. Oh, bless you for saying that. But could you get a cubed? Check this out. If you really want to use a cubed exponent, you ready for this
But would that
bad
take
move?
up 4 or 3 of my 4?
It sure would, right? Because you would do 4 to the 4 minus 4 over 4 power. Oh, what the hell? Now, fortunately, you don't have to do that. Because I didn't ask, what would that number be equal? Anybody know what that number would be equal to?
So that would be 4 to the third, because 4 minus 1
Careful, careful. You gotta realize something.
It's 4 over 4.
This is all the exponent.
Those three.
So if it helps, put the exponent in parentheses so you can see that.
64.
So what's 4 minus 4 over 4?
3.
It's 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that 1? 4 minus 1 is 3. This is 4 cubed. That's okay. That's totally fine. It's 4 cubed, which is 64, which is way bigger than I make you
Yeah,
make.
4 times 4, yeah. 4
It's way bigger than I make you make, right?
64.
But you totally can. So what Aubrey is asking about, and I love this question, by the way, and it's funny, on the homework that I'm going to give you in a minute or an hour, probably like an hour, it actually asks 2 points. Which of the new rules, and the new rules are, you can use square roots and cube roots if you want to. So you can use the square root of 4 and make it 2. I added that on the homework rule. I called that rule number 4. Rule number 5 is called a factorial. I'm not going to bring that one in right now. You can see it in your homework later.
Dropping the F-bombs.
It's one of the good F-bombs, though.
Sometimes
one
the
of
other
many
one's pretty
F-bombs.
good, depending on the situation.
And rule number 6, I call it the Hail Mary rule,
Wait.
where you get to make up your own operation.
How did I think about it?
Does that make sense?
You can do it however you
So
want.
remember how we were doing those yesterday in the warm-ups, where we had like smiley faces and yin-yang symbols and clubs, and they all did something? You can make up your own. Like if you're like working through like 17, you're like, God, I can almost get 17, but I need more. Make up your own rule and insert that in. And then I actually asked Aubrey, which of these seemed the most fair? Because the way you reacted when I wrote square root of 4 is 2, and you're like, but you're really not using a 4 then. Bless you, that's wonderful. We're really not using 4s at all in most of these.
Oh my god.
Just the
Okay,
fact
so
that it
stop
adds
now.
up to
We're making 4s do other stuff. No, I love the fact that you reacted like that. That was so badass. Because it does feel like you're bending